Friends, if you want to turn off your cameras or anything, you're very, very welcome to. If we can make our way to our practice space, wherever that may be. So you'll find ourselves in a comfortable seat. If you've got blocks or bolsters or something you want to stick under your bum to get the knees down, to get the hips up, feel free to do so. If you don't want to sit cross-legged, as always, you're very, very welcome to send the legs out long. But we will start with our head above our heart and our heart above our pelvis. And then to honor the tradition from where this practice comes, let's sit up nice and tall. And then using your next inhale, reach your hands above your head and have a big old stretch with the upper body. Unite the hands in prayer above the crown, and as we exhale and lower the prayer in front of the eyes, we will open up with a chanting of 3 Oms. Taking a deep breath in. Lower the prayer in front of the mouth or throat. And the prayer in front of the heart. And Hari Om, our practice can now begin. Please take your right hand and put it onto your belly button and your left hand to place it onto your heart. And I'd like to spend like the first 2 minutes, 120 seconds, just with a little bit of breath consciousness. Feel free to close your eyes or even keep a subtle gaze down the bridge of your nose as we relax the shoulders and then allow ourselves to tune in to the natural breath. That doesn't have to be anything forced. It doesn't have to be anything regulated. But if we can, let's just recognize the flow of breath as it moves through the body. Every inhale, allowing the heart to fill, allowing the lungs to fill, allowing the spine to lengthen. Every exhale, allowing us this opportunity to balance. Our inhale is nourishing. It brings in life-giving oxygen, allowing the body to do what it needs to do. And every exhale becomes purifying. It's taking away excess carbon dioxide. And once again, allowing all of the cells of the body to continue to do what they have to do. If we can, now that we've hopefully unmasked anything that's sitting on top of the breath, maybe we can now start just to deepen it slightly, to lengthen it. So less of a natural breath, but now more something that's guiding us a little bit deeper, but also allowing us that little bit of discipline. Good. Let's now start by moving into the neck and shoulders and allowing ourselves, an opportunity to loose up any tension that might be sitting there. So on the next inhale, we're going to reach the hands up towards the sky, take another big stretch up, lift the shoulders up towards the ears, and then turning the palms away from each other, bring the hands down the sides, take the shoulders away from the ears, and let's get the fingertips down onto the mat next to the hips. And sort of in the shape that you'd have if you had an invisible tennis ball under your hand. I actually heard somebody refer to this as cupcaking the other day. So just the tips of the fingers pressing down, the palms lifted, and the hands not taking weight, but just allowing the spine to be long. Taking a nice deep breath in, let's lift the chin, gently lift the heart center. As we exhale, we're going to bow the head down, taking the chin down towards the breastbone. And let's just let it hang here for a breath or two. With the fingers pressing into the ground, we've given the arms a little bit of strength. We don't want to lift the shoulder blades up, But as the head gently drops down, just allow it to create some space in the top of the trapezius, the top of the back muscles, but also a little bit into all the muscles that support the head. Using the next inhale, let's roll the left ear over onto the left shoulder and use the exhale to bring the chin back down towards the breastbone. Inhale, right ear to right shoulder, and then chin down to the breastbone. And let's keep moving like that, just in a semicircle, allowing the head to gently roll around the base of its range of motion. Now, I do offer you the opportunity, if you want to, please feel free to move beyond my instruction. If you want to give the head a big roll, go for it. If you want to go both ways, listen to your body. I would say just letting the head hang for a moment. It's going to start to introduce a little bit of softness between the shoulder blades. It's going to offer a little bit of softness into the top of the shoulder. But sometimes we need to go that little bit further. So feel free to experiment. Feel free to play. Allow the breath to be your guide so that we're not forcing, we're not fighting into new space. But we're just going to introduce that little bit of balance, that little bit of potential relief, that little bit of play. Great. I'd like to use the inhale now to bring the head back into the center, and then we're going to lift the head up again. Raising your right hand up towards the sky, look up towards the right thumb, and let's take the side body stretch. Press gently into the left palm, bring the hand down, so we open up the right hand side ribs. And then on the next inhale, we're going to swap this over. So the right hand's going to come up, so we inflate like a balloon. The right hand comes over, the left arm comes up, and then hello left ribs. Let's keep moving. Inhale, raising both hands up. Left hand comes down, right hand comes over as we exhale. Inhale, both hands up, right arm down, left arm over. Let's do 2 more each side. Inhale up, exhale over. Inhale up, exhale over. Third time is the charm. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Great. Bringing ourselves back up into the center. Let's now work our way up into all fours. So we're either going to swing the legs around to the side or we're going to roll over the shins. Both of those are valid. And of course, if you do require a little bit of extra cushioning for the knees, well, we can either double up our mat to bring ourselves a little bit of cushioning, or if you do have a blanket or something to bring yourself joy. Just a gentle note that the cat-cows can be done from a seated posture if you want to. But let's start with a relatively strong tabletop position. So hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips, so that the limbs are perpendicular to the ground. On the inhale, now we can start with the hips. Lifting the tailbone up high, it allows the belly button to drop down. The heart can shine forward and the crown can lift. The exhale can then tuck the tailbone in, pull the belly button in, separate the shoulder blades and lengthen the back of the neck. So inhale, Pitalasana, our cow pose. The spinal flexion lets us squeeze the back of the body to lengthen and open the front. And exhale, tucking the tail, tucking the chin and pulling the belly button in. We squeeze the front to lengthen and open the back. Now I dare say, if you've been with me before, you've done a cat-cow. I love this particular flow, I really do, because it offers so much, not just to the physical body or the spine and the shoulders and the hips, but so much into the nervous system as well. Linking the breath to the motion allows us to flow. And starting low gives us that root that allows the breath to grow, allows the spine to flow. So every vertebra, every joint gets a little bit of love. Like I said earlier though, we're going to open it up a bit. So if you'd like to start to add a little bit of lateral motion, so maybe now the hips can start to sway a little side to side as well, or maybe even draw some circles. Once again, we can translate that motion through the hips, up through the belly button, around the thoracic spine, around the base of the rib cage, allowing the ribs to float around. Also giving it that little bit of play into the heart center. Remember, if you are going to draw some circles, to draw them both ways. So we're going clockwise and anti-clockwise, or at least exploring the opportunity to, well, give ourselves that sense of balance in the body. I'd like to make a little bit more space. So maybe stepping the hands a little bit further forward, maybe only the length of one of your hands. Maybe step the knees back a little bit. Now moving our tabletop from that very rigid position, or potentially rigid position, now into one that gives the spine a little bit more arc. As we start to move, we can now look at sending the bum towards the heels, lengthening the hands above the head and allowing us a little bit of space in the base of the arm, to the armpit. As you exhale, let's come forward. Now potentially looking at a half plank. So stacking the shoulders on top of the wrists, we can drop the pelvis, lift the head and heart. Inhale, I'm going to say press back, because when we lift the hands, we're creating lots of space for the lungs to expand. As we exhale, coming forward, potentially looking at a high cobra, but once again, squeezing the back, the spinal flexion to lengthen and open the front. Now with a little bit more space between the hands and the knees, well, that gives us more room to draw bigger circles. So imagine if you had your heart shining down onto the mat. Maybe we can rotate clockwise or rotate anti-clockwise. Really allowing the hip a nice bit of motion, rolling through the shoulders and the shoulder blades. But also introducing spinal flexibility. Oh, if you really want to be fancy, feel free to do a couple of figures of 8. Start to draw more little snake-like motions as we explore that space. Now, for those of you that are looking for a little bit more load, you might want to tuck the toes under. Give the sole of the foot a little bit of love. So with the toes tucked under, it starts to lengthen out the plantar fascia, the connective tissue in the sole of the foot. But this also sets us up for popping the knees up off the ground. And you don't have to lift straight up into your down dog. Maybe when the bum comes up, use this opportunity to paddle the legs out. Maybe nod the head yes, or shake the head no. Maybe swish the hips yes, shake the hips no. We can continue that forward and back motion using the linear line of the mat, and then also stacking the shoulders on top of the wrists. We can drop the hips down. Once again, you're getting that big stretch through the front body, through the front of the thighs. And pushing back, we can say, hello hamstrings, hello lower back. And flow between these two nice long positions. Remember, you don't have to stay up. You're welcome to come onto the knees. Take the extended child's pose or the cobra, or even on all fours, walk the legs out there. Right, I'm going to tuck my shirt in before I expose myself online. If you're up for the challenge, here's a doozy. Either pushing back into the downward facing dog or into your tabletop pose. Let's lift the right leg up. Inhale, raising the heel up towards the sky. And then we're going to step the right foot to the front of the mat. Either into a full lunge, a runner's lunge, or feel free to come down onto the back knee. That choice is yours. Either way, we're going to lift the head, the heart, the hands. Either Anjani-asana or Ardha Anjani-asana into the lunge. As we exhale, bring the hands down, send the right foot back, either tabletop or the downward dog. Inhale, left leg comes up, nice and tall. Exhale, left foot steps forward, either lunge or half lunge. Inhale, raise the hands up. Here we can take a gentle back bend, once again flourishing through the heart. And exhale, hands come down. All right, let's do that 2 more times on each side. So even on all fours, inhale, we can lift the right leg up. Exhale, step it forward, guiding it through with the hand if required. And then a nice big stretch, lowering the hips, lifting the head and heart. Exhale, hands come down, right foot back. Inhale, left foot up. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, raise the hands above the head. Exhale, going back, hands down, feet back, maybe bum comes up. 1 more each side. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale, lift the upper body. And exhale, back to the start. Last one. Inhale, left leg comes up. Exhale, left foot comes forward. Inhale, upper body comes up. Exhale, hands down. Left foot back. And now we're going to come into extended child's pose. Sending the bum to the heels, allowing the heart and the forehead to melt down towards the ground. And here, allow the body to be heavy. Open up the knees if required. Give the belly some space. Give the chest some space. Let gravity take the hips. Let the earth hold the heart and the head. As we just take a moment to surrender that energy down. One more breath here. And then I'm going to flip us over onto the back. So, using the inhale, lift the bum up off the heels, bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, and either swing the legs around or roll over. That choice is yours. I'm going to bring my legs around, just for consistency. And then I'm going to roll us over onto the back. Drawing the heels up towards the bum. Let's get the feet about hip-width distance apart. The arms can go into cactus, so palms facing the sky, or wide if you have the space. That choice is yours. And then we're going to have a little windshield wiper of the legs. Beginning with them with about hip-width distance apart. So we have a nice, gentle roll through the ball and socket joint. But with the feet hip-width distance apart, we also allow ourselves a nice little twist, because when the knees go to the left, the right hip can come up. When the knees go to the right, the left hip can come up. And here we can take a gentle roll around. Just especially if we've taken any strain into the hips by lifting the legs up, just to release that down. I would also like to pay a little bit of attention to the muscles and the connective tissue on the outside of the hip. Those often we use those in stability all the time. They're the things that stop us from collapsing to the outside. And I do think the outer hip could do with a little bit of love, especially early in the morning. To do this, we're going to start with our reclined pigeon pose. So coming back into the center, both feet down, heels up towards the bum, back of the neck nice and long. And then drawing the right knee in towards the chest, give that a little squeeze, and then we're going to take the right ankle over the left knee or thigh and open up the hip. So we can either have the sort of inverted figure of 4 shape, or if the body allows, allow yourself to bind the legs. Bring the right thigh all the way over the left and pull them together. Both of those shapes are going to be valid here, because once again we're going to start to windshield wiper the legs from left to right. Now you'll find that the bind will limit the range of motion in the twist. That's okay. That's kind of what we're looking for. Because like I said, I want to focus on the TFL. I want to focus on the top of the gluteus medius, but also up into the piriformis and all of the muscles that are supporting the outside of the hip. Now don't get me wrong, if the knees can go all the way down to the ground, you're very welcome to do so. But here, especially this time in the morning, This is a nice little maintenance thing. So don't feel that you have to push or force. We're not trying to create new space. We're trying to maintain the space that we have. Especially when it comes to injury prevention, preventative maintenance is, well, it's key. Something that many of us don't do. So hats off, friends. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time to do the preventative maintenance and make sure that the body is nice and strong. Right, let's swap this over. Coming back into the center, we're going to bring the sole of the right foot down, heel up towards the bum, and then do exactly the same on the other side. So the left knee comes into the chest. We open up the hip. We either take the left ankle on the top of the right knee or thigh and open up the hip, or we go thigh over thigh to bind the legs. Now, I don't have the biggest bind, but I do find that it's just kind of nice because it also then takes the inside of the thigh, the soleus, and begins to activate that, which is another muscle that we don't often work. Once we've got the bind, once again, we can start the windshield wiper. And it's a slight difference between what's happening in the left and the right-hand side here. With the left over the right, the outside of the right hip is really getting a big old stretch when you drop the legs down. And remember, we're not forcing them down. If anything, we're just letting the weight of the legs sort of guide the motion. But just to back to the soleus, the muscle on the inside of the thigh. It's quite funny because if you go to a gym, you'll often see the one machine that never breaks down is the one that you have to put your legs on the outside and then pull the knees together, because nobody ever seems to use that. But the soleus, those muscles down the inside of the thigh, they are so essential for stability. There's my random observation of the day. Right. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And they're going to give all of that connective tissue, going to give all of those muscles another opportunity just for a little bit of strength and for a little bit of space. And to do this, we're going to use our hip bridge, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. So bringing yourself back into the center, let's release the bind of the legs and bring the sole of the left foot down. So both heels up towards the bum. The hands this time are going to start to reach towards the heels. You can go palm side down, you can go palm side up. That choice is yours. Either way, we are going to press with the feet and gently start to lift the bum up off the ground. When we do, please remember no weight in the head or the neck. We want the shoulders to be strong. So as soon as the bum comes up, we can start to walk the shoulder blades towards each other. Get the back body strong. Press down with the backs of the arms. The hands can either come to the hips, maybe to assist them lifting, or if you'd like the bind, interlace the hands behind the back into a big old fist and then push the fist between the feet as we lengthen through the front body. So here the hamstrings are shortening, the outsides of the hips are squeezing, the buttocks are squeezing. As a matter of fact, the whole of the posterior chain, the whole of the back body is active here. Taking the hip flexors, the front of the body where the thigh joins the abdomen, and just giving them a nice bit of space. Remember, no weight into the head, no weight into the neck. They're not designed to take weight, and we don't want to put any unnecessary stress there. Taking a deep, bold breath in. As you exhale, we're going to release this. So the hands can release, and we can come down gently from the shoulders to the bum, vertebra by vertebra. When the bum touches, let's bring the soles of the feet together, opening up the knees like a book. Now this is going to take the outside of the hip and gently compress it. You might want to lift the bum up for a second just to make sure that the lower back is long and we're not kind of just like crunching down into that part of the body. Here, the inside of the thigh can now open. The soleus that I was talking about has now got all of the room in the world. The arms can either go wide or into cactus. As once again, we let gravity really do the work here. The feet pressing together, the heels, the balls of the feet touching. Maybe we say hi to the toes as well. All the toes meeting their counterpart. from here, just to really tie the ribbon on this practice, we're going to do a gentle inversion. And this is going to take us up into Ananda Balasana, Ananda blissful child's pose. So the blissful child or the happy baby. Now this also has multiple versions, but this is the one I like to do. Keeping the soles of the feet together. Start to squeeze the bum and pull the belly button in. That's going to allow us to lift the feet up off the ground. Lift them up. If we can, reach through with the hands. Now either grab the backs of the knees and open up the sole of the foot to the sky, or if we can, reach between the legs to either grab the big toe or the outside of the foot. Then we can draw the knees up towards the armpits, allow the shoulder blades to come together as we take the back body and give it a nice big stretch. The legs are nice and wide. We're drawing the knees up towards the armpits. We're giving ourselves the best opportunity for space. We're also not putting any unnecessary pressure onto the abdomen. For me, the real kicker here, though, is starting to lengthen the legs, pushing the heels out. So allowing the hamstring, the back of the leg, to lengthen, but because of the bind, because of the hands on the feet, we've got that little bit of resistance. So the muscle is going to lengthen, but it's going to strengthen at the same time. For me, this is vitally important, because we want to cultivate strength through the body, well, no matter what state the muscle is in. 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, release the feet, bring the legs down, bring the arms down, backs of the hands to the tops of the ground, palms facing up, and then scoot the heels out to the corners of the mat as we find ourselves into Shavasana, into corpse pose. If you'd like a blanket, or if you'd like to drape something across your eyes, you're very, very welcome to. If you need socks or jerseys, go for it. We're going to take the next 90 seconds, just a minute and a half, to let the body rest, to take all effort away, and just to allow ourselves that nice little bit of stillness. Often we can find ourselves being wrapped up by what the world has to offer. And sometimes, let's be honest, the world offers a lot of chaos. But here, we cultivate the quiet. We cultivate the stillness, giving not only ourselves, but the rest of the world the opportunity for peace. And in a world that can often feel very chaotic, we can gently remind ourselves that love, tenderness, these are not a weakness. But patience, compassion, understanding, these are one of our greatest strengths. Because these are the things that allow the light to shine. And as practitioners of yoga, that's what we do. We bring the love back into the universe. We allow ourselves to be a bastion for all that is good. And that starts right here with you. Giving yourself the love, the patience, the kindness, the understanding. Using the next inhale, we're going to raise the hands above the head. Let's have a big old stretch. And the knees to the chest. Once again, a little hug. Because what could be a better expression of love than a big old hug? If you can, bring the nose up to the knees, give yourself a squeeze. And then let's work our way back up into a seat. Either rocking and rolling along the length of the spine or maybe rolling over onto the left-hand side. That choice is yours. But when you're ready and take your time, let's come back up to the place where we first met. And sitting with head above heart and heart above pelvis. Shoulders back and down, heart open. Use our next inhale to lift the hands above the head. And into the perfect silent balance, we bring the hands to prayer. As we exhale, we lower the prayer down in front of the eyes. And taking the peace of the heavens with us, friends, may that peace remain with our thoughts. We then lower the prayer in front of the mouth or the throat. And as we use the truth as our guide, may peace be with our actions. And then lowering the prayer in front of the heart. As we use unconditional love as our guide, may peace be with our hearts. We then close the practice as we began with the chanting of one Om. Deep breath in. And until we see each other again, friends, and frankly, because there is no better way to say it, Namaste.